well. I'm going to talk to you today in this live video about sitting and seated posture. It's something that has been mentioned a few times in my classes and everything, and it's one of those things, isn't it? In today's lifestyle, actually, we do a massive percentage of our daily time is sat sitting, whether it's at a desk, excuse me, or in a car, or slouched on a settee, or whatever. We're sat sitting, and it's the same for children as well, isn't it? They spend a lot of their time sitting in school and what. So, as a society, we're a very sedentary society where the majority of our time is sitting. And I did a post a little while back, a few days ago, about sitting, and the spine isn't really made for sitting. It doesn't really like sitting, and I think I put something like, you know, sitting for the spine is like sugar for the teeth, and it really is. It's really not good for it. However, it's sort of unavoidable if you need to sit at a desk at work, or if your job is driving a lot. You know, there's no other way, unfortunately, not at the moment anyway, where we can avoid doing that. So, I wanted to give you some tips in this video of how to try and maintain a good posture whilst you're sitting, and then some things you can do to try and not get too stiff and sort of fixed in that position. A few little exercises that you might be able to do quite easily at work with perhaps no one noticing, and just some tips and things to try and keep you back from aching if you are sat for a long time in one position. And that's the key. A bit like I said the other week with standing, it's when we just stay fixed, our bodies were made to move, and if we don't move them, that's when we then have problems. So, I've got this chair to sort of try and show you. It's not really ideally a desk chair, however, when you're sitting, and you're sitting at your desk, particularly, you need to try and sit with the base of your spine against the back of the chair. Now, if I do that, what actually you'll see is my feet. I've got short legs, and this chair is quite deep. It doesn't quite touch the floor. Ideally, you want your feet flat on the floor. So you really want your feet flat on the floor, knees bent, but with the base of your spine against the back of the chair. Mine doesn't quite go. I need a slightly narrower chair, which I do have at home, actually. So, your feet are flat, knees are bent, base of spine at the back of the chair, and you need to try and just sit up, like, you know, you do when you're standing. Sit up nice and tall, making sure you're not arching forwards and you're not slouching back like this. And then shoulders are down. And then if you've got a desk and you've got your computer and everything, you need to think about the ergonomics of that. So you need to think about where your computer is. Is your screen to one side and you're constantly turning your face? So if I turn and face you this way, you know, if my screen is over here to my left, am I constantly in this position? Is my neck constantly looking over one way? Are my arms, what position are my hands in? Am I having to reach forwards to the keyboard? You know, you need to be in a position where you can keep your shoulders down and you can keep this upright posture. What tends to happen a lot, isn't it, is as once we're sat there a while, is we start to do this and we collapse. Now, someone has said to me, you know, well, how can I maintain it? Well, unfortunately, there's not a quick, simple answer. You might see things on the internet where you can put something around your shoulders and it draws your shoulders back, and, well, one, your shoulders shouldn't be right back like that anyway, in your posture. You see things where, you know, you can put it around your middle and support your back. Yeah, but in my opinion, all it's doing is stopping your muscles from actually working. You're thinking, oh, that's fine, this strap here is doing all the work and holding me up, or this round my middle is holding me, and then you forget to use your muscles. So actually, over time, they don't get any stronger. If anything, they just get weaker. So I'm not a big fan of putting things on and strapping. I'm a big fan of just use your muscles. Work your muscles, build the strength up in them, and then you'll be able to maintain that posture longer and longer. It does, of course, take you to remember and remind yourself as well. So this is my reminder to you. Keep hearing me in your voice, keep saying it. You know, sit up tall. If you find yourself starting to slouch, just readjust and think, right, now I'm going to sit up. It's funny, if you look at children when they sit, especially young children, they sit naturally with a really good posture. And I'm not quite sure what happens over time as we get older, but we lose that ability. children will sit naturally very tall with a lovely, you know, straight back. However, we need to remind ourselves of that. So, that's your good posture that you want to try and maintain. If you are sat for long periods of time, you will need to stretch out, you'll need to move. Ideally, get up off your feet and walk around, and you could do some stretches. Alternatively, here are some stretches you could do whilst you're sitting. So let's start at the top. Head. You can just quite easily, and you probably do this automatically anyway, is take your, you know, just stretch over one side to the other. You might just turn and look over one shoulder. You might look down to your feet and up. A good one to do is look down and then turn the head. That just gets slightly different places in the neck. You can do some shoulder shrugs or shoulder rolls. Particularly, you can go both ways, but particularly backwards, I think, because most of us tend up going in this direction, don't we, when we're leant over a desk, or even in the car. And then you can shrug your shoulders. What you can do as well is use a chair, depending, you might not have handles there, doesn't matter, you can put your hand on your leg, whatever, and try and turn around, twist round behind you, a bit like a spine twist, to get some rotation in the back. Quite nice actually, because your hips stay fixed, so you can just turn to the back. With all of these, I do a few of each, don't just do one, you know, do a couple. You could do a reach down, you could reach over to the side. That will just loosen off the lower back a little bit. And then if, I'll turn sideways for this so you can see, you can round the back. We've done this one standing as well, where you feel like you're hugging a big tree and you draw the shoulder blades apart and you just drop the chin to the chest. That's a really nice stretch across the shoulder blades in the upper back. You can do that. You could even make sure you don't bang your head on your desk. Roll down, and you could do a little relax down over and back up. Obviously, if you're driving, don't do any of these. I think that's obvious, isn't it? If you're driving, the best thing is to just have regular breaks and stand up and stretch. But if you're at your desk, yeah, do a few of these. That will give you a nice release. And then don't forget the legs either. So one thing is to you can just whilst you're sitting, just clench your bottom and you just squeeze your bottom and just fire up the bottom muscles because they get a bit numb. Circulation doesn't get to them when you're sat on it all the time. So squeeze the bottom, and then you can, depending on your desk, you can straighten your legs out, engage the front of the thighs, squeeze the quads, you can point the toes, you can circle the ankles. Yeah, you can do all of that. So a little workout like that, head to foot, every half an hour or so, you'll feel a lot better, and then you'll sort of readjust and think, oh yeah, that feels better, sit back up again. Or get up and walk around and do all those sorts of things, exactly those exercises standing you could do, you know, as you're walking around. But the main thing is to remind yourself about sitting up. Sit in that good posture and try and just fire up those abdominals slightly, those deep abdominals, like we do when we're in a class, or if you've been to a Pilates class. Think of a belt, and you're just pulling in a notch tighter than you would do normally. You just engage, just fire up those deep abdominal muscles as you're sitting there. And just think about your posture. The more you become aware of it, the more you remind yourself of it. I will keep reminding you as well, don't worry. And you think about it, the more often you'll do it, and the more natural it will become. And it will become, you know, more every day, more automatic in sitting in this posture. And as soon as you start to slouch, you think, oh yeah, I need to do that. And if your back starts aching, do that little series of exercises. But to help remind you, start with the head like I did. Do 2 or 3 of each of the stretches like we did. Head, neck, shoulders, your back, side, turns, roll downs. Yeah, all of them, and then legs. Alright, so that's sort of a quick recap, but if you want to watch that properly, go back and watch the replay because I go through all of them in more detail for you. So I hope that's been useful. Let me know that there's a few people in my classes I know, and on this page as well who said, you know, yeah, what about posture when you're sitting? So hopefully that has been useful. Don't forget, today, whenever you're sitting, think about your posture. Try and sit up, you know, in what you're doing. In your car, you can adjust the back of your seat. Actually, you might even have a chair at your desk, might you? You can just adjust the back of the seat so that you can sit more upright. A lot of people tend to drive their cars sort of, you're very laid back like that, aren't you? You don't want to be over the steering wheel like this. You just want to, obviously you need to be comfortable, but try and have your back, the back of your chair up so that you can sit in a good position. And the key with all of this is don't sit there too long. Get up and move in between. So, here's to your good sitting posture for today. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if this was useful.